presented by Dr. Pepper. And we'll tell you more about that here in the next few minutes. We've got 4, but we'll give 2 away today and 2 tomorrow. So you can go to Atlanta and enjoy, for at least a half, Bama and Florida. Then you go party somewhere.
Hey, but Atlanta. You know, because you've gone, I've been several times. I know you've probably been way more than me, but the game experience, just the experience of that weekend is well worth it.
It's unreal.
So if you've never gone, you want to get in on, I know you guys are going to say how you can get these tickets here in a bit, but you want to get in on that because that's one of the funnest weekends. If you can get over to Atlanta.
It's huge.
It is. It's so fun. And I know Alabama's going to beat Florida to sleep, but still, it'll be a fun weekend.
It is, and you're right. Everything that they do around the game downtown is a blast.
It is.
And everybody's partying, and it's just a good atmosphere. Florida back in the game again after what they did to LSU. Let's drop the big board, and then Jake and I will discuss. Jake Wimberly with ESPN 105.9 The Zone.
What's on the big board?
All right, let me do that again. Jake Wimberly joining us on the set. He's the host, Drive at 5 on ESPN 105.9 The Zone. And I've got Jackson and Drew in the Bank Plus studio. We welcome in our listeners. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. I thought it was still a great weekend of college football. I mean, I had a blast watching the games go down to the wire. I even was up in the club level watching Kansas and Texas just because it could impact the SEC West and our listeners and so on. I was watching Ohio State and Michigan State and how nuts that was. A 1-point game, 17-16. But Florida LSU was the one that was the chatter in the junction. You know, people were talking about that one because Jake, LSU is, on the 1-yard line and trying to punch it in against Florida's strength. I mean, Florida's strength, their 4- and 5-star players, is that defense. Yeah. And they couldn't get it done.
Couldn't. And they also squandered, I think it was like a minute and a half during that whole time.
What are they doing?
I'm not sure. And you looked at Orgeron, they kept panning to him on the sideline, and he just had that glazed look, almost like he didn't know what to do.
Right.
And I thought, this guy is literally dropping this job right before our eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, he literally coached himself out of that job on that final drive, I think.
And what I don't understand, we see this from coaches throughout the country that have more experience than him. But you're sitting there thinking, a minute and a half, then it gives you all the time in the world to chill out and take your time and figure out what you want to do against the Gator defense once you get inside the 5. It's just, and who knows what LSU, I have no idea what Mississippi State and Ole Miss are going to do this weekend in Oxford. I think it's easy to say 50 to, like we were talking about, but I'm not. Who knows? That game could be 30-26, or it could be 30-17. I don't know. But the point is, I don't know what to do with LSU and A&M either. The way that they have been playing, and it's not like A&M was impressive over UT San Antonio. That game was 21-13.
Right.
And Frank Wilson used to coach at Ole Miss and LSU, and he's the head coach there. We don't have anything concrete on Charlie Strong in Texas, but most of us feel like that's just a matter of
as a matter of fact, on your TV over your bar, it just came across on ESPN that Texas boosters, which I don't think this is a surprise, are now really pushing Tom Herman. They want Tom Herman.
Okay.
And that's not just fans, that's the boosters, and we know how that works. I mean, when the guys with the pocketbooks and the ladies with the pocketbooks start screaming, it's going to be a matter of time. So is this a kind of an arms race between LSU and Texas? Who can grab Tom Herman the quickest?
If Jimbo says no.
That's right.
I'm thinking they're going to make Jimbo Fisher tell them no.
Yeah, I would think so.
Is your initial, give me your initial gut reaction whenever you heard this. Whenever you hear that the boosters are putting up the money, they're pushing for Herman, they want Strong out, what do you think is going to happen? Just that.
I think Herman will be the next coach of Texas.
That's what
I do too. Okay. And I think Jimbo Fisher goes to LSU, but if he says no, then I don't know where that leaves the Tigers.
Gosh, we were talking about it. We keep hearing Larry Fedora.
That's awful.
That's a terrible. That would be a bad hire for LSU.
When I see that on boards, it just tells me people have done just little to no homework, thinking that Larry Fedora is that good of a coach.
Yeah, and you've said it too, and Dave Bartu has said it on this show
for years.
If you don't believe it, just drop the Bartu audio on, and he's got the numbers on how bad Fedor really is.
Right. And how many games he lost that he shouldn't lose at Southern Miss and now at North Carolina. Even a week and a half ago, or whenever it was, when they lost to Duke. I mean, as far as talent profile, there's no reason to lose to Duke.
No, it's not.
And they're a top 25 recruiter.
Yeah.
Fedor can recruit. He just can't coach. If you're going to do that, you just stick with Eddie O. I'm not sure how much a difference. Yeah, I mean, Fedor's got more experience, but what are you really doing there? And we know that LSU is an automatic top 5, top 10 recruiter, because even what happened last year, they still landed a top 5 class. I mean, it didn't hurt them whatsoever.
None. And is Orgeron, do you think he's officially, he doesn't have a shot at that job now?
No, he's out. Even if they beat A&M this weekend,
Long gone.
I would think he's done. Unless Joe Oliva's. I don't think Joe Oliva's that smart and sharp when it comes as far as ADs. But
He's not.
no,
That was a bad day for Oliva, wasn't it?
that was a bad day for Oliva. Okay, so it's rivalry week. We got the battle for the Golden Egg in Oxford. Drew brought up a great point. Dan is coming back either way. All right. I mean, Mississippi State fans can be upset, whatever. Now, he will be under a lot of pressure, but he's coming back. Is this Freeze as far as pressure? I mean, he's supposed to win this game this weekend, but wouldn't you say this is the most pressure he's been under? Because the last thing he can afford to do with the NCAA cloud there in the spring, and it's coming. It's going to be sanctions. It's just a matter of how severe. Wouldn't you think this game, I mean, he's got to beat Mullen.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. When you look at the expectations coming into the year, and granted, they dropped some tough ball games to some really good teams. Florida State, Alabama, we've talked about that. They lost a tough one to Arkansas. Arkansas is a nice team. But then if they don't get bowl eligible on top of everything else, and I don't know, I looked at Freeze just on the game the other night. He looked stressed.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I'm sure he is. I mean, with everything that's going on, he just looks like a guy that is really, really stressed right now. So, yeah, I would say that his seat would get extremely hot.
Is that his worst loss? Drew, come in here. Out of bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Jake Wimberly with us. The Drive at 5 from 5 to 6. Is that the worst loss for Freeze?
It's up there with Memphis. That's the only one that was coming up to mind.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that one.
But at least with Memphis, they had a NFL caliber quarterback. Right. They had a coach that was trending up.
That's true. Fuente was hot.
So yeah,
he went like 10-2, I think. Yeah, something like that.
It was a nice year for them. This probably was because Vanderbilt. You're thinking about coming into the year, they still have to beat Tennessee this weekend to get bowl eligible. So yeah, they very well could have lost to a 5-7 Vanderbilt team.
Woo! So you could argue that's the worst. Yeah, Memphis. That's a tough one. I could see both. I may lean toward Memphis, but Vanderbilt's right there. A lot of pressure on Freeze to win this weekend, and Revs are up 7.5, 8 points on the line. So I saw 7.5 and 8 points yesterday.
That's high.
Is that what you saw?
7.5 is what I saw.
Yeah, I think that's about right. I actually thought it'd be a little more. I thought it'd be 9-ish, but 7.5, 8, I think is about right.
Jackson, where's that money going to go? Which way during the week?
I would think towards
Probably,
Ole Miss.
Yeah, I'm thinking Ole Miss. Being at home, people seeing, State's defense is not that very, they're just not good. Ole Miss has a bunch of playmakers. The explosive plays are definitely going to go Ole Miss's way. I just think it's going to go Ole Miss's way.
Me and some buddies in the car coming back yesterday were thinking it would be like 4, but that's why I thought that was high.
You thought it would be 4?
Yeah.
Huh. It was early. It was, around 15?
Yeah, or at the beginning of the year, whenever they dropped that.
It may go to well north of 8. Jake Wimberly joining us on the Out of Bounds Show. Good morning. Welcome in. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody listening. Don't have probably as big a morning drive audience with all the kiddos staying at home this week. Can you believe they get the whole week off now?
That's crazy. I don't think we did growing up.
No, we were out at like noon on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's right.
I think it was something like that.
I'm jealous because now they're out, like you said, the whole week.
I know. Unbelievable. I was talking to my son about that yesterday. I was like, man, you don't do a lot anyway. But what are you going to do this week? That's living the dream stuff. We're going to come back with Tom Luganbill. And Jake's going to interview Tom with me
quick update: the money is actually moving to Mississippi State.
Is it at 7?
So it's 7.5 right now.
Well, it opened at 7.5.
I went to 8. Yeah.
And then back to 7.5, so it's moving up and down. All right. Well, I can't wait to see where it is by
Mayflower,
kickoff at 2:30 on Saturday. Live in the Bank Plus studio. That's the big board brought to you by the Madison Healthplex and Performance Center, Highway 463 in Madison. Hey, you're going to be eating a lot of food this week, so you need to work out, right? What better place than the Madison Healthplex and Performance Center? They have all kinds of fun specials and deals to wrap up the year. Check it out. You can take a tour. Highway 463 in Madison, the premier one-stop shop for all your fitness needs, Madison Healthplex and Performance